Do you know the reason why EFTS is so cool? No. It can make big explosions. Aren't explosions bad? Yes. But they are cool. EFTS is a necessary evil. It is used to keep civilians safe. Safe from what? UAVs. And missiles that are out of control. UAVs. And missiles go out of control? Yes. But you are safe with the EFTS. It will end the flight before it gets close to populated areas. What about Fire Scout? Never happened. Are you sure? Yes. Is your EFTS safe? Yes. What about Global Hawk? That wasn't EFTS. What was it? EFTS. What's the difference? Ours has an E in front of it. Oh. EFTS stands for Enhanced Flight Termination System. It is a digital system that will take over for legacy FTS, which is an analog system. What is the difference? FTS uses tone-based signals to communicate with UAVs or missiles. EFTS uses digital signals consisting of a range ID, transmitter ID, vehicle ID, and command counter. For what are those used? Each vehicle has one or two receivers in it. These receivers have parameters that must be the same as the digital signal or it will be rejected. No accidental self-destructs like Global Hawk. How does the message get sent to the vehicle? To send a message to the flight termination receiver, the transmission starts with the range safety officer. The range safety officer is sitting at a RSO command panel. At the command panel, the RSO will press a command button, which sends a message to the command controller. The command controller is the brain of the system. It creates the message with all the necessary parameters to be accepted by the flight termination receiver. The complete message is sent to the encoder. The encoder takes the message and encrypts it using the Efts encryption key and DDES unit, and appends the appropriate frame sync and forward error correction. The message is now encrypted, and can only be decrypted with the same key it was encrypted with. The encrypted message is now sent through an exciter and amplifier to get it up to the correct frequency and power level. It is then sent out through an antenna to the airplane where it is received by the receiver. The receiver decodes the message using an encryption key that was preloaded. After it is decrypted, the receiver goes through the parameters making sure that they are correct. If all the parameters are correct, the flight termination receiver accepts the message. If the parameters are not correct, it disregards the message. And you helped create this? Yes. You are so smart. Thanks. The best part of the new EFTS system is it fits seamlessly into the equipment already in use for the legacy FTS. The exciter, amplifier, and most of the equipment on the airplane are left behind from the legacy FTS system. There is no costly integration. So it doesn't cost ungodly amounts of money. Nope. What is EFTS being used on currently? It's being used on Phantom Ray, Phantom Eye, Global Observer, and X-48. Soon, it will be required on all projects coming into Dryden. It sounds like legacy FTS is now obsolete. Sort of. At Dryden. How many planes can be supported at Dryden? We just split our system, which now allows Dryden to support 2 simultaneous missions. Once we get the ACDS, we will have the ability to support 2 more missions with multiple UAVs in a mission. Wow, how will you support multiple UAVs in the same mission? Each mission has a frequency that it needs to use. The digital signal allows EFTS to send out a message to a certain UAV on the same frequency as other UAVs. This is because each vehicle has its own unique vehicle ID. It won't accept a signal with a different vehicle ID. This was not possible with legacy FTS and our current setup with EFTS. Why is it not possible with the current EFTS setup? The person who is sending the signal would have to constantly switch the vehicle ID between the multiple UAVs. Doing it manually would take too long, and it could cause a lot of problems. The ACDS will automatically switch between vehicle IDs, meaning you can send a message to a different UAV every 20 milliseconds. Sounds like a cool system. It is a very cool system. Do all ranges have EFTS? Eglin Air Force Base was the first range to support an operational EFTS mission. Dryden is the first range to support daily operational missions. But there are other ranges in the process of implementing it. Since Dryden is the first range to operationally use EFTS, did you develop procedure for using EFTS in missions? Yes, for UAV to fly, we have a pre-flight procedure. These pre-flight activities ensure that the EFTS will function properly. To make sure that the flight termination receiver can read and decode the messages it receives, we check that the key on both the encoder and the receiver match. Once the message is decoded, the receiver checks the message for the correct parameters. So, we have to make sure the parameters are correctly loaded in the receiver. We, then, perform pre-flight checks to ensure that the messages are transmitting to the receiver and are being read. Did Dryden come up with these procedures? Yes, we are the first to do this. So, you're a pioneer in the EFTS world? Basically. Dryden am the center of all EFTS knowledge. Bask in my glory. Yes, you are. Well, thank you for explaining EFTS to me. No problem. Goodbye. Fine. Goodbye.